Yeah, hi everyone. I believe I'm live. So just trying out a few live sessions, basically checking out what's any queries, any questions that you have. Feel free to ask. I'll wait for a couple of minutes for people to join, and then we'll start the session. Right. So yeah, so we'll wait for a minute, and we'll see. And then maybe we will start with the session. So this is generally a preparation session on um, CAT. So basically, for people who are preparing for CAT, I think it should be relevant in terms of what you need to do, what you know don't. Um, since less than 3 months are left, so how to go about preparing from now onwards, what you need to do, the basic set of preparation that is required as far as preparation is concerned. That is what the whole aspect about this particular session is, right? So understand that though there is still less than 3 months left, but the people who normally do well as far as cat is concerned are people who don't give up. Okay, so keep on going till the end. That is what is the most important thing. As long as you can keep on going about it, I think that should be fine. You can go ahead and go about it. So I'll talk about few things. Maybe I'll take up a few questions to start with, and then maybe we'll talk about something that can go about it. Okay, cat this year got 90% last year. I'm also preparing for CT 2021. So CT 2021 is around the corner. Give that exam and then you can focus on the CAT. But when you write the CAT this year, remember to change from what you did last year. Because if you repeat this, what you did last year, you will end up with the same percentile. Change your strategy, experiment with the strategy, change the method that you solve, try something different. That is how maybe while trying different, you may go a little down, but then it should help you over a period of time. Right? A best source for DLR preparation are the mocks. Normally, mocks are a good source of preparation. The current mocks or the past mocks, because that is what is going to help you over a period of time. So look at the mocks generally because they are the best source for both the quant and the DLR. But when you're looking at the mocks, let's be very clear with that there will be some questions which are really tough which don't come in the exam. So I know it is very difficult to say that what comes and what doesn't come in the exam, but let's put it this way: anything that you find really tough, okay, anything that you find that really tough, you should skip. It will not come in the exam because in the exam also, what you're going to do is pick up the easy ones out of the sets which you have and then solve. So if you're picking up a DRS set which explanation is very long and you think it will take more than 20 minutes, doesn't make sense to even attempt it or look at it. Okay, but yes, mocks are a good source because they have varied type of questions, and that is what is going to help you with regards to your preparation. Mocks are a good score source for both DILR as well as quant, though in both sections there will be a few questions which are not really good. Verbal best source is reading. I don't think mocks also a good source. Verbal the best source is reading. Right, which test series best for cat? Difficult to say. I mean, I have my own cat test series, so I normally have 10 mocks as such. But apart from mine, I would normally say maybe I've not seen other mocks, only people who send me doubts, but I've seen IMS and CL are decent. Both are decent. Can pick up any of those two and then try to look at. Apart from my mocks, I've only seen these two sets of mocks, which you can look and try to attempt. I've not seen. I can't comment about other mocks. I've not seen that. Time mocks, I'm not really happy, but it's okay. Uh, yeah, some mocks are really irrelevant. I understand that. You can skip those. I mean, there are a lot of times where even in the mocks, I'm not able to get the answers, but that is perfectly all right. Okay. Again, for content DLR last minute, you can pick up the mocks and try to solve. Okay, since there are people who have joined, let me just start with generally speaking a little bit, and then I'll take up the questions again. Okay, that's what I will go about it. First and the most important thing with regards to CAT is that don't give up. Let's be very clear with that. There are people who have got negative marks. There are people who got, you know, single digit marks. There are people who have got good marks also. People who get, demotivated, disheartened, and they give up. But let me see, I've seen people 2 months, 3 months before the exam having low scores, picking up and doing well till the final exam. I'm not saying that you will score 99 or whatever percentile, but you will score decent percentiles maybe to get into a college that you would get as such. So I had a student with a single digit marks, ready to give up, but went about trying, experimented a lot, had a decent improvement, and ended up 95 percentile. Maybe in the weaker section, the con section got 80 percentile, but overall 95 getting into MDI, which was like a good option. Same way, I had a person who had negative marks, gave up preparation twice and thrice during the preparation. In the last couple of months, she ensured she tried preparing, got into IAM. So there are many cases which I've seen where people have, improved, and the improvement may not come during the mocks. A lot of people come back and tell me that my mock scores are stagnant. It happens. Stagnancy is there. It's not possible that CAT scores will keep on improving. If that is the case, that if your CAT scores keep on improving, then you will score more than the 228 out of 228. So obviously there will be a stagnancy where you will find it difficult to improve, and that is always there with regards to preparation, no doubt about it. Okay, but you have to keep going. That's what is important. I've seen people who have scored 70 percentile throughout in the actual CAT scoring a 97 percentile. Maybe they are more relaxed. It clicked in the examination. They were able to do better. Okay, I've seen people whose the last mock which was there being really bad because for whatever reasons they thought it's a last mock, let me just not give it, but the mock went bad, and they were but went about and going about scoring a 99.92 percentile actual CAT. So there are a lot of cases where I've seen the key is not to give up till the end. That's what is important. And if you can ensure that, uh, you will be able to do well as far as the exam is concerned. That's one very important thing. Second thing, apart from not being able to give up, the important thing is uh, improvement will not be easy. Okay, from now onwards, when you start with a mock score, initially the improvement comes about, but after time it stagnates. The improvement doesn't come about easily. Okay, because a lot of reasons. I mean, one thing, you cannot improve. Second, improvement is slow. Don't give up because of that, or don't get disheartened because of that. It is a slow process. It will come along the improvement. You have to, ensure that you keep preparing and the process is right. What is the process now? Mocks. Be regular with the mocks. I'm not very for writing too many mocks, but yes, you should write at least minimum mock. Minimum one mock a week is what I would recommend definitely. On an average, for a person who's normally scoring little lower side, I would recommend two mocks a week. For a person who's scoring a little higher side, maybe three mocks a week. I know there are people who recommend solving a lot of mocks, but a lot of mocks is only for people who are already scoring a 99.9 plus, not for others. I mean, because if you really want to improve, I don't think mocks is a place where you can improve your methods. Mocks is a place where you can improve your strategy, where it helps you to practice, but it doesn't help you to improve your method. Because what happens in a mock? Let's try to understand it. When you're writing a mock, you normally react. Reaction is saying you do what you're habituated to do. So if I have a sum and I've seen the sum like time for distance, I will normally do what I'm habituated to do. I don't change my methods because I'm under time pressure. And under time pressure, we normally are into habit. So if you want to change the method that is there, you need to move out of mock and practice without time limits and try to get better methods. And then apply in the mocks. So therefore, I'm not very for solving like 5, 6 mocks a week, and normally recommend 2 or 3 mocks a week depending on how much you score. If you're scoring less, maybe 2 mocks a week, high, maybe 3 mocks a week, but that's how you need to score. So do that. Mocks maybe twice a week. Then remaining 3 or 4 days, maybe picking up mixed questions from the mocks, current and past mocks, and practicing. And last, maybe revising from the topics which you find uncomfortable. Because when you're solving a mock, when you're practicing, you may find a few questions or topics you're not comfortable with, or you feel there's a small revision required. Go back to the books and revise once or twice a week. That's how you need to do. Or maybe when you're practicing itself, when you find a topic which is not comfortable, go back to the book. I'm not against going back to the book, but I'm not also for practicing only from the books. Not a very good source. Good source for practice is the mocks. From there, if you find difficult, go back and try to practice from whatever notes or books that you have. Only for the topics that you find difficult, only for areas you find it that you want to improve. Also, avoid questions in the mocks which are too technical, too complicated, etc. Don't come in the exam. Formula-based questions don't come in the exam. So avoid those questions. For example, I'll just give you an example. I mean, few years back, even now, few years back, there were mock series where every mock almost had a one question on remainder theorem. Remainder theorem don't come in the exam. It has never come in the exam. Pure remainder theorem. There are remainders coming, but a very simple, pattern-based questions, not remainder theorem. But every mock had a remainder theorem, and people should come back and tell me, "Oh, every mock has a remainder theorem. Why are you not teaching me remainder theorem?" I said, "It's not going to come. It's never come. It will not come because the formula-based sum." So there are questions in the mocks which are difficult and which may not come in the exam. Skip it. There's no harm in that. But others try to solve. That's one thing. Also, one more important thing is try to form groups if possible. On your own, the learning is limited. I mean, you can't go about learning a lot on your own. If you really, really want to learn, the best way to learn is to maybe a group of people that you have. Don't study in a group. It doesn't help to study in a group because the study has to be on your own. So when you study on your own, that is the best thing to do. But after you study, for example, I write a mock, someone else write a mock. You can write the same mock. After writing the mock, maybe you can come together and discuss. That can be done in a group. A small group, maybe of 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, depending on what you're comfortable with. But yes, writing preparation separately and then discuss in a group. Group study helps. For example, I had last year one group which was there. One student went to Ahmedabad, one student went to Bangalore. I'm Bangalore. I'm all top colleges. A group of people, and it benefits everyone. Good group as such. So, and not that they were brilliant people. One was a normal BCom from a local college. Other was so it was not that they were exceptionally good. Okay, but the fact that they came together, studied, helped each other out, creates a big difference. It's only helps when all the people in a group are ready to help each other out and improve. So group study makes a lot of difference, and I've seen it not only in terms of preparation, but tomorrow if you feel low and you feel that you want to talk to someone, having someone to talk who is preparing for CAT or otherwise maybe does help. So have a small group if possible where you can discuss and then go about it. Okay, that's what you can do. So group study definitely helps. Prepare, try and forming a group as far as possible. Okay, and ensure that whatever mocks you write analyze properly. We are very hesitant to act. We like write the mocks but we don't analyze. Try and as far as possible analyze thoroughly your mocks. That is a source of improvement. The best people I've seen who have scored really well and have improved are the people who systematically write the analysis of the mock. So I had a particular student who should write 2 or 3 pages of complete analysis of his mocks in terms of where he went wrong, what he went about. You should always come and show once in a while regarding what can you do further. So it is a very systematic way of writing, and people who normally improve are the ones who have a systematic way of representing what is required as far as the mock is concerned. If you can do a proper analysis, I'm sure it will help you to improve. So have a proper analysis for the mocks as far as possible, very systematic manner, and go about it. That could help you really to identify where your improvement can come from and how to improve. So if you can do that, it will definitely help you with your long term as such. Okay, so this is some few tips that I talked about regarding preparation. If you can go ahead with this, it could help. Just to summarize the small what I've talked about, most important thing, don't give up. You don't know when scores will pick up. It may not pick up in the preparation, but it may pick up in the actual exam. So don't give up. That's the first important thing as far as possible. Okay, second thing is as far as possible, improvement will not come suddenly or every time. You need to have patience and then go about it. Have a group study, prepare in a group. That always helps. Try to form a group of preparation. It helps psychologically also because someone is there to share your this one. It helps you in your preparation as well. And last but not the least, mocks, systematic way of analyzing the mocks, looking at where you're lacking and how to improve. That is what is going to help you with regards to preparation. That's what I wanted to tell you about it. Now let me just take a few questions as far as possible and then go about. Okay, that's what I'll do. The focus is the CAT preparation, and we'll look at CAT in terms of any questions that you have, which I can touch upon. Uh, should we do cons, DLR, and VRC together every day or 2 sections per day? Depends on your comfort level. You can do 1 section per day, you can do 2 sections per day, you can do 3 sections per day. There's no hard and fast rule. Every individual is different, therefore, every individual has a different way of preparation. So look at your own way of preparation and then try to work on that. That is very important. Don't try to copy someone else in terms of what they do. Keep experimenting to see what works for you and then work on that. There is no harm in doing one also section per day, or you can do more than 1 section per day. Anything will do. Okay, then what would be the systematic manner to analyze mock? Maybe I already have a video of analysis of mocks, but let me touch upon it a little bit in terms of what is the systematic way of analyzing a mocks. Once the mock is over, done, okay, after you see this many right, this many wrong, this many unattempted, I look at my scores, etc. I'll go back to every question which is there. First, I'll go back to all the wrong questions which are there and see why did I go wrong, okay, and could I have done right in the exams. And I'll write down the mistakes in the book. Understand, always remember to write down the mistakes. Your maximum improvement can't come if you can reduce your mistakes, because there is a, from -1 you go to +3, which is 4 marks extra without any additional investment of time, because you already invested that much time. So if you can correct your mistakes, that's the maximum improvement you can get. So and then the first step I look at is what are my mistakes in the mock and how can I improve them. That's the one thing that I look at it, mistakes and improvement. Second, after that mistake and improvement part, the next part I look at is which I have not attempted. I'll go to all the questions which are not attempted, see if I can attempt it without looking at a solution. If I can attempt it without looking at a solution in a short period of time, then I'll go back and analyze and check why didn't I attempt these questions in the mock time? Did I have no time, or was my selection of questions wrong? If my selection of questions were wrong, check out can I change my selection of questions so that I don't miss out on easy questions next time. If I did not have enough time, go back and check out where did I waste a lot of time in the mock. Did I waste a lot of time in my mock in trying to solve questions, or did I waste a lot of time in the mock in selection of questions? That will come as analysis next part. Okay, so do that. And once you do that, I'll again go back to the right questions which I've solved. Why right questions? Because this is the right questions I'm going to solve in the exam also. And I need to find better ways of solving these right questions. So I'll go back and analyze the right questions and then go about it. And see, is there a better way of solving? If I get a good method, I'll write down in a book and say, okay, this question is a good method, etc. Because later on I can revise it. And last but not the least, I will in the end write down whether the strategy I was working in the mock, did it work or not? If not, why did it not work? And what strategy I can try for the next mock. Analysis of mocks. So briefly explaining what. Maybe I'll make a detailed video later on. I already have a video on analysis of mocks which you can go through it. Old video, but try it out. Right. Then how to improve question selection. Normally, what I say with regards to question selection is every time when you practice in the practice itself, okay, look, always understand that whatever you practice will happen in the actual exam. So improvement will has to happen during a practice session. Improvement will never happen in the mock, certainly. Don't expect that if you solve 5-10 mocks, your scores will improve. It doesn't happen. Only if you practice, then where improvement comes, and then improvement comes in the actual exam. So in the same way, if I really want to improve even the question selection, I should improve it in your practice. Okay, so whenever you're practicing a question, try to spend around maybe 1 or 2 minutes at least, okay, on every question. The way I say, suppose I take a con question. What I do is first spend 15 to 20 seconds on the question, read the question, and check out whether it's easy, medium, or tough. If this comes in the exam, will you solve it immediately, or will you solve it later, or will you leave it completely? Okay, that's the first thing you should do in every this one. After you go to that 15 seconds of, after that, spend 2 minutes on trying to solve the question without pen, and then use a pen. But that first 15-20 seconds is what will help you in selection of question. That's for mathematics. For DLR, I'll say normally 1 minute to 2 minutes. Maybe you start with a 2 minute. Every set that you practice, spend 2 minutes on selection to find out whether it's easy, medium, tough. Over a period of time, try to reduce that 2 minutes to 1.5 minutes, maybe. So in a practice session, if you don't improve, you will never improve in your mock. So your improvement has to come in the practice session, and that is what will help you to improve your score. Okay, so that is what you can go about doing it. Okay, let me take. Sorry, I know a lot of questions. I will come regularly on this one and then come order. For which con chapter LOD practice is mandatory? I don't think LOD practice is mandatory at all. In the exam, anyway, you're going to pick up easy questions and solve. And most of the LOD 3 questions in the books are more mathematical based, which don't come in the exam. Do you ask me personally, LOD 3? No, I don't recommend LOD 3 at all. LOD 1, LOD 2, LOD 3, if you're comfortable, you can do it. Else, you can skip it. Understand, learn to leave difficult questions. And if you learn to leave difficult questions during practice, you'll be able to learn to leave difficult questions in the exam. Don't have that ego that I have to solve all questions. That will backfire in your practice session, definitely. Uh, is Arun Sharma book enough. There's no book or no notes which are sufficient. No matter from where you study, how much you study, what notes you study, nothing is sufficient as far as the exam is concerned. That is very clear. So you have to look at multiple sources. Have to look at ways and solve, and that's how improvement. So most specifically books, I'm not for it. Best source is obviously mocks at the second stage of preparation at this stage. So focus on the mocks. You can go and revise from Arun Sharma book or any other book, which is fine. But I'm not saying that no books on its own or no notes on its own is sufficient. You require to prepare as far as possible. How do I take? How do I reduce my time to solve RC Utkarsh? Uh, Improving a reading habit. Okay, I'll just give you an example. That's what I was talking to a student of mine a few days back. Think about how do you read when you read a passage like Aeon or Digital Passage, or how do you read when you read a passage which you like say sports or some novels. When you read a novel, you tend to skim through it. Okay, you don't read everything. You try to skim through it and then go about it. But when you read a passage like Aeon, you try to go to every detail and read. Not very good idea. So a good reading habit comes when you start getting passionately involved with whatever you read. So if you like reading, you will focus on reading what is important. So imagine you are reading a sports article. Will you read everything in the passage? You will read what is important in the passage. You may skim through something which is not important. You may not read a line which is you feel is not relevant, but you will focus on something important and read. So as in when you create a habit of reading, you will automatically improve your reading speed. And this is what it is with regards to your practice also. So try to read, spend more time on reading what you're comfortable, and automatically that will help you in terms of reading for the cat. It'll improve your speed. I mean, I have given cat, I've scored well in the verbal section as well, and all for reading, not for practicing anything else. So improve your reading ability, automatically you will be able to read better and faster as far as the exam is concerned. Um, Okay, Jyoti Agarwal, I'm not able to retain concepts in con even after revision. This is hampering my performance. Okay, it's very difficult, Jyoti, in terms of remembering. This is a problem with everyone. I mean, we start practicing, but we don't recollect things because as and when time passes, we tend to forget what we have done in the past. And because we tend to forget what we have done in the past, we feel it difficult. But understand that retention will come with practice. For example, I'll give you one example. Suppose I take a sum, I get a good method for a sum. What should I do? Should I leave it there? No. I'll take that method and try to solve similar sums. Can I use the method in that similar sums? That will help my retention. Then maybe if that method is important, after a week, I'll come back to that sum and look at again to retain it in terms of my mind. So it comes with practice. I'm not saying it'll come directly, it'll come with practice. The more you practice, the better it is. And that's what helps. So I understand you may forget after 2 days, you may forget after 3 days, you may have to come back to it. But over a period of time, as and when you practice more and more, the methods will retain and you'll automatically be able to apply the methods to whatever sum that you come. That is what is here. I practice chess a lot. Does it help me in DLR? Yes, I mean any logical things it normally helps in DLR. So Sudoku solving, solving chess puzzles, maybe any type of puzzles. They do help in DLR section to some extent because it develops a thinking process, and because it develops a thinking process, definitely helps you to improve as far as possible. Right, Keshav? Yeah. How to prepare for IFT, DLR? IFT is after the cat 1 week. So technically, normally, even if you write a cat, you take a break and you in that 1 week, if you write a mocks, that's sufficient for IFT. Normally, most of the case. But yes, there are some different type of questions, specifically like DI in the IFT is a little different from what is comes in cat. So if you feel that you want practice for that, maybe now is a time where you can maybe take a few sets of DI and practice. A good source for practice for understanding DI charts, not for maybe IFT particularly, but to understand DI chart, is pick up a R.S. Agarwal DI book. They're very simple sums. R.S. Agarwal DI book and just solve it without pen and paper. If you can solve that, that will help you to improve. So try solving sums without pen and paper, and that will help you to improve. Right? Uh, Right. Do you need to take notes for all the types of questions? Not all the type of questions. Only sums which you find important, take notes for that. If you make notes for all questions, then it will defeat the purpose. Only important question makes a note. Make a note of it. Okay. Same in verbal, only question where you've gone wrong and you feel there is make a note. If you write too much, look, why do you make notes? You make notes so that you can go through it later period. If you make a lot of notes for a lot of questions, it defeat the purpose. You're not going to go all the questions and again revise it. You will only focus on important questions. So only questions where you have important methods, or you feel that this can be applied to other questions, or you feel I want to go to this question again later on, it will help you. That's what it will do. Do we have to take, Arjun? Do we have to take mock test series from multiple centers? Not required. You can pick up, focus the mock test series from one, but there are always past mocks available online. You can pick up those for practice. They will give you practice for different type of questions from different sources. That is perfectly fine. Um, uh, Anushka Pai, where can I find good source for practice for con? Past mocks. Let's be very clear. Past mocks is a good source for practice. Fluctuating a lot, Aritya Chan, yes, mock scores will fluctuate. It's okay to fluctuate. I don't see a problem why fluctuation is a problem. I think it is good to fluctuate. You should also ensure that your scores should fluctuate. So by experimenting it. But after it fluctuates, when your scores goes down, analyze and find where you have gone wrong. It's good that your scores go down right now than maybe in actual cat. Okay. So one of my, as I said, one of my students who scored really low just a couple of days before the exam, but it was good. He scored less before the exam. In the exam, he scored well. So it's no problem having the scores low right now. Analyze, see where you can improve and how to improve, and then work on that. That's how you should work on it. Also, the improvement will come in small stages. Don't expect the improvement to come from 40 to 90 directly. Always work on incremental improvement, and that is what will help you in the long term. Remember that, right? Fine. I will yeah, so right now maybe I will come back again live, maybe hopefully on a regular basis to help you and guide you as far as possible. For today I will wind up, um, and see you again. If you have any queries, any questions that you want to ask, you can always ask in the Ask Patrick series, or I'll do come in the live sessions again, and as far as possible, right? Fine. Thanks for being there, and good night, and see you again in the next session.